So we had discussed differences between data frame, RDD, and data sets. Also, we have started introduction about we can say project overview, what we have to do, and how we are going to do, and what type of project that we will try. So those kind of stuff we discussed in last two sessions. Okay. Today, anyway, the first session I already announced is a free and is completely anybody can join. Okay. So, but coming to session two, I already told you that is dedicated to the those who are joined as a member as well as only for project implementation. So that is the two sessions that we already discussed. But coming to the session one, today, as usual, I will try to explain one topic from Spark so that you people might be get some knowledge out of it. Okay, so it's a very important and easy topic for today, and I think one person asked me in previous sessions that they need brief idea about the RDDs. Okay, so RDD is a very important topic, right? So wherever you go and interview, so people will ask you the questions on RDDs. Okay, so that is the reason. So far, I did cover in the session what is RDD and all. So I thought to discuss the same so that you people can aware, so that it is a basics as well as base for all data frames and data sets, right? So it is good to know if you have a knowledge on RDD. So that is the reason today I just want to explain few minutes regarding these RDD stories, and then we'll do what is RDD. We'll try to know what is RDD as well as how many methods we have to create RDDs, and how can we use RDDs, and what about data that we are how to apply RDDs. So that kind of minimum introduction we'll try to see. So I know many of you already have knowledge on RDDs, but still try to bear with us. And even if you know one single point which is new for you, that is always helpful to you. So let me share my screen and give you details about the RDDs. RDD is an immutable distributed collection of elements of data which was partitioned across nodes in a cluster that can be operated in parallel. Okay. So in interviews, right, you no need to explain this much in detail. Okay. And just try to understand what exactly the meaning of this line. Okay. It's an immutable distributed collection of elements. That means once RDD created, you cannot, modify the data. Either if you want to modify the data or alter the data, then you have to create one more RDD and do all your transformation over it. Okay. But once you created any RDD, that cannot be changeable. So that is the reason we are calling it as a RDD is an immutable distributed collection of elements of a data which was partitioned across nodes in a cluster that can be parallel operated in parallel. Okay. So anyway, Spark itself is a parallel processing, right? Okay, you no need to explain explicitly this is a parallel processing, but still up to this line, right, is recommended to explain. It's an immutable distributed collection of elements of a data which was partitioned across in nodes in a cluster. That's it. And coming to RDD, it was introduced in 1x version, okay, in 2011. Okay, we already discussed this topic in our previous session, right? So this is about the RDD definition, and coming to ways of creating RDDs, or there are two types. One is, if you see this completely sentence from Spark documentation. I didn't write any my own words. Okay, there are two ways to create RDDs. Okay, so one is parallelizing an existing collection in your driver program. Okay, we'll discuss with examples, right? The second one is we can create an RDD from external file systems, right? External file system means either we can take the data from HDFS or HBase or any other source like cloud also. So we can utilize that external file system or as external storage system to create our RDD. Okay, for that we will use one method, and for parallelizing the existing collection, we will use one method. So we have two methods to create an RDD, right? So guys, these two, is it clear what is RDD and what is what are the methods to create RDDs and how many methods we have? Is it clear? So we will quickly go for the practical.
Yes.
Okay. So it seems very easy, but it's very important. Definitely, people are asking about what is RDD and how many methods we have to create an RDD. Okay. So this is very, very important question. We can say in interviews we generally used to ask many people. So if you won't able to answer this, then there may be some negative impact. Okay. So this is about the RDD, short introduction. Let's move to some practical stuff. Okay. So as discussed, right, we'll first go through the details about the method one. Okay, parallelizing. How we can create a data, RDD by using parallelize method. Let us assume we have a data like this. Okay, or this is a collection of some elements, right? These are some immutable collection of elements. You can just think like that. Okay, and we can also create the data set by using the rank method. But as of now, we just go with this whatever we have a list. Okay, now as we discussed, there is a method that is sc.parallelize. You know, sc is Spark context. I already explained what is sc and what is the importance of sc Spark context in our Spark architecture. Okay, so sc is it's a key to the cluster to operate, right? So that is the reason we should use uh, in case of RDDs, in case of accumulators, in case of broadcast variables. Accumulators and broadcast variables are different subject. We'll try to cover in upcoming sessions. Those are comes under shared variables. But generally, the Spark context will be used in these three area, especially in creation of RDDs as well as working with shared variables. Okay. So Spark context dot here, Spark context is inbuilt in a Databricks community. But when we write a real-time program, right? So we have to create a Spark context, okay, out of Spark session. If we are using two contexts, then we have to use. I think by default there is a Spark session which is available as a Spark. If you want to take it only Spark context, then we have to create a Spark context. Likewise, we can create Hive context, Spark context, and Spark SQL context. So these are all inbuilt in Spark session from 2.0 onwards. But anyway, we'll cover that one by one in our upcoming sessions. But in this session, try to understand what is SE. We are using SE to create the RDD by using parallelize method. Okay, so let me run this. Now it ran it again. Let me create data frame. Sorry, RDD. The RDD is also created. So how would we know this is RDD? If you want to know, then just type RDD. Okay, guys, I just for our understanding purpose, I just given name it as RDD, but you can give any name. Okay, which it will consider as RDD. Okay, so if you see, this is a PySpark RDD. Okay, this is a PySpark RDD, right? So like that, if you want to see the data, then we can write, we can file the command collect. Okay, that is again collect is an action. Hope you people are aware what is transformations, what are the transformations, and what are the actions. So we'll discuss few when we are going forward. If you don't know, okay. So when we use collect function, we can see all the data which is stored in a RDD. Okay, this is the data which we have been talking about, right? So if you want to know how many partitions the Spark by default it got created, okay, so for that, right, I just want to enable this. See, Spark created 8 partitions by default. I didn't give any commands explicitly here, but in Databricks, when we are running, Spark has created 8 partitions, right? But some people want to know how the Spark divided 8 partitions and what may be the data in each partition. So if you want to see that, then we have to use one function called gloom. This is a function gloom and run it. You will see 8 partitions how it got stored. Let us say in each partition, like the data is stored like this. In the last partition, it included 8 and 9 records. It need not be the same, but I just try to understand the concept first. When we do real-time stuff, then we come to know the clarity. Okay, but by default, the Spark, acting like this. Okay, so if you want to see the data in a partition, then you have to use gloom is a method to display the partitioned data. Okay, this is also one of the important. Anyway, these are aggregation functions. Just for reference purpose given here. See, these are the 9 elements which are present inside the RDD, right? So if you want to see the sum also, it will do sum for us. Let me run it and show the sum for the elements which got stored in RDD. Okay. So this is a 45 is the sum. Okay. I'm not explaining in detail about the transformations here, but the concept is how to create an RDD in a first method, that is by using parallelize. Okay, this is only for extra information for reference purpose. So this is how we generally create an RDD by using first method, that is called parallelize, when we have a list of collections. Okay, and as I told you, we can also create RDD by using range, but there is a small difference. I will tell you. So when you use range, right, it will also give you 1 to 10. Okay, let me. Okay, now run this again. If you see type, we will see one small difference. Pipelined RDD. Okay, earlier we have seen is an RDD, but here if you are seeing pipeline RDD, because difference is because it's a range, right? So it's a continuation of the data. So that may be the reason it is giving pipelined RDD, but I don't think this type of questions will become in the interview. Only I'm sharing this information to get some knowledge. Okay, so you have to aware of this, this method as well. That is the reason I'm just explaining. But operations and all similar. Okay, all these operations will work similar, but only I want to just to give you some differences. What is difference between this type of collection and by using a range? Okay, so just keep it as a reference. Not that much important, but yeah, it's good to know, right? So guys, this is the about parallelize method to creation of RDD. And if you have any questions, or if you have, did you understand? I don't know exactly, but let me know. Is it clear? If it is clear, then we will move to next method. Okay, that is important. RDD itself, we are not creating in real time. If we have a data in structured format, as you know, we create an RDD. Let us say there is a stream. Okay, there is a tutor is there. Okay, it's generating so much feeds, right? So if you want to analyze what's going on this T20 World Cup, right? So generally we may use Spark streaming or Kafka or Flume to collect those data and pump into HDFS. Then there we have to create RDD because the data is not structured, right? That is a you can say unstructured data. we used to receive. So based on that, we have to create an RDD first. Then we have to do some transformations, right? Like Twitter ID and date. Okay, whatever tweet the persons are tweeting, and what is the common name, which is popular cricketer name. So something like that data we have to filter out of the streamed feeds. But, that's where we generally use RDD, right? And once we create an RDD and do all these transformations, then after doing this filtered data, on top of it, we generally create a data frames. Okay, on the data frame, then whatever you want to write SQL queries and all, you can do it after registering as a temp table. Okay, that kind of nature of source when we are using, we will go for RDD. Okay, so is it clear by using method one? Any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Yeah, so about Spark context, like you mentioned, from Spark 2.0, Spark session is like a combination of, means it contains all the context like Spark context, Hive context.
Yeah.
So in real time, so do we use Spark context or we use Spark session directly?
I will. I just am saying, right? You only tell me. I will ask you some question. Like, let us say you everywhere in our present days, then people are using 2.4.5 is the stable version under 3.0. Okay, but of course, but present version, if you see the Spark is 3.2.0, but that may be not a stable version. Okay, so
Okay.
coming to your question, right? From 2.x onwards, we have a Spark session only. Okay, that is inbuilt of all this context, SQL context, Spark context, as well as Hive context. Okay, so if you want to use data frame, you have to use Spark session, or if you want to go for RDDs, then you have to use, first of all, you have to create Spark context, then use as a Spark context, SC as a Spark context, like how we are doing right now. Okay.
Okay.
But in 2x version below, right? We do not have this Spark session, right? There, I think I didn't remember exactly, but there is a little longer method to go for data frame creation. Okay, by using Spark context itself. Okay, but I can say we don't remember everything because nobody will ask you what is the difference between 1x and 2x, especially this. But you have to at least say this word, like earlier there was no Spark session. Now in 2.x onwards we have a Spark session. But in the Spark session, right, this is the advantage. Like we can use multiple Spark sessions. Okay, but in 1x version, you cannot create a multiple Spark session. When you create one Spark session, then we have to use only Spark that session itself. Okay. So anyway, this Spark context or Spark session will be limited to JVM. Like per JVM, it will create only one. It will be active. Okay. If you want to create one more session or one more Spark context, you have to stop existing Spark context, then create one more. But in real-time cluster, you have so many missions and all, so there's no such limitation. You got it?
Yeah.
All right. Guys, anything else to move forward to discuss the second method? Okay. All right. As I told you, this is the second method, referencing a dataset in external storage system, such as shared file system, HDFS, HBase, or any data source offering in Hadoop input file format. Okay. That means either we can take the file from cloud or HBase or HDFS or local file system. So to do so, we are going to use text file method. Okay. So what I did to save some time, then I just created one small file. Okay, this is the file. Okay, let us say we have this comma separated. Guys, it need not be the same lines and all. I just giving you for a reference purpose. I just written like this, Spark, Python, Scala, something like that. And what I did, I uploaded that file into our file system. But see, I just uploaded. This is the file that I'm talking about. Here you will see upload. Okay, upload option. When you click on it, then it will go to here. Then what I did, there is a test RDD file is there. So I just clicked it. Then it will upload and give the right click mark like this, and the file will be stored in this location. Okay, you have to copy this location and go to our terminal. Okay, and just pasted here, and I'm assigning into one variable called data. Okay, now our the data which we just now see, this data is present inside this file and inside this location, right? So it is very easy. Again, I just creating a RDD, given one more label name, that is RDD1. sc.text file method is a very easy, right? sc.text file method. Okay, and now here this is the data. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, now data is this data is present inside this file. Okay, this reference. Now let me run this also. Okay, so now RDD is created, right? So I think let me run this command. We'll check it whether it is RDD or not. This is very important because in real time, this method we use. We run it. See, this is an RDD, okay, pipeline RDD, right? So, and if you want to see the data, just try to understand what is the difference between this parallelize and text file method. So this is the data, right? This is the first line data, this is the second line data. Okay. Now, if you want to see number of partitions which Spark created, 2. Okay, it created 2. Okay, and if you want to see the data inside the partitions, see, this is completely taken as a first partition, and this is completely taken as a second partition, right? So, and if you do count, I think it's supposed to give 2. Yeah, it has given 2. Okay. Finally, I just want to give you a small, like a small program, we can say. This is generally in interview we used to ask many people if you are good at Spark or RDDs. Okay, this is a word count. Is a very in single line code. Okay, in single line code I written. So you can explain the same thing in interview if you face any such questions. Okay, so this is our raw data, right? This is our raw data. So I want to know how many times the Spark word repeated and Python or Scala, something like that. Okay, so to do so, right? So when we use Python with Spark, then we generally follow the lambda functions. Okay, so first of all, to count, right? To count, this is separated by comma, right? First of all, we have to split. We have to split the data based on the delimiter. Okay, comma is a delimiter in our case. So this is it will split. Okay, it will split. Let me show you. Step by step. I will just this is a little important. That is the reason I want to show you. See here, based on the now earlier we have seen lines, right? In a single 2 lines, right? Now see output is 72. Okay, so like Spark, Python, based on the comma, it split the data, right? Now what we will do, map, we have to map, right? Like key value pair, okay? See here, what it will do, uh, Spark 1, Python 1, and again, if you see, there is a one more Spark 1. So it will just give one number for each word, okay? Map function will do something like that, okay? Now, finally, what we have to do, we have to reduce by key, right? This is the key and this is the value, okay? So if you do group by this key, then we come to know how many Spark words got repeated. Here, Spark is 1, Spark is 1, Spark is 1. The Spark comma 3 we used to get, right? Something like that. Okay. So let me go ahead and run this one also. Then we will see. Did you observe? Spark comma 3. Data science, machine learning, Hadoop, Java. So these are the number of words. So this is the word count program. Okay, in single line we used to write. We can write it, but when we use Java and all, I think you can assume how many lines of code we need to write. I think more than 50 lines it seems. Okay, but in a Spark with Python or Spark with Scala, we can write it in a single line. Okay, that is the beauty of the Spark with the Scala or Python. Okay. So I just give an example, okay, but our subject is to know the number, how to create RDD. But I just given one more, this example for your understanding. Okay, guys, this is another method to create RDD, and generally we use this type of methods only, text file method. Do you have any questions in this session or in this topic? Because we have only 4 minutes left. Anyone? Any question? Okay, if you don't have any questions, is there any other questions? Like, because we have a session 2 that is for mini project discussion. So whoever joined as a member in Clever Studies YouTube channel, I request them to join in session 2 after completing this session 1. Okay, so we still have few minutes left in this session. Please let me know if you have any common questions or, oh, is there anything else that we try to discuss apart from this topic as
Uh, yeah, actually, I want to know about the project session. So what is it all about? Like, in which language we are doing the project, and what is the overall thing we are covering?
See, the project is, I just try to give support, like what to do, like how to do, what is the use case. Okay, so what are the tools that we have to use, and that kind of guidance that I will provide. Okay, so we are forming as a
Okay.
group. We are forming as a group. Like I think we have almost 8 to 10 members might be there. So we'll try to divide as 2 groups or 3 groups. Then we'll first phase we'll try to accumulate the. First of all, we will decide that what kind of data that we have to use, or either it is a structured data, unstructured data, that is one. Then what kind of project, like is it telecom or banking or some other healthcare? We will decide that. Based on that, we will try to get the data. Okay, collect the data, and we have to create some tables in a MySQL and load the data into MySQL. From that, we have to use Scoop. And let us say we have selected some telecom data. Okay, so in telecom data, right, we'll take the whole data and create the tables, and in MySQL, then load into Hadoop by using ingestion tool like Scoop. Then in Hadoop, we'll create some tables, and data, some filtration activities. Okay, and finally, we also use some sparse transformations over it at data frames, and we'll load into MySQL or any other cloud or back to HDFS filtered data. Okay, those kind of stuff we will do. Okay, in between, we'll try to segregate or do more business logics based on the data. Okay, that kind of stuff we are planning. Okay, in session 2, if you join, then you may get more clarity. Okay.
Okay, and okay, are you covering the deployment process like in Python API, in Spark Python API? Like, what is the process? How we do it in real time?
We will tell you, but if we have a environment, then we can do it. If not, then I will try to explain by using the code how in real time we will deploy the code. Okay, like I will explain.
Okay,
You the
okay,
same you can explain in our project also. There is no problem at all. Okay, what we generally
okay,
doing that I will try to explain. Okay,
okay. Sure. Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah, guys. I think thanks for joining. Those who are interested, you can also join session 2, so that we'll try to discuss on some mini project stuff. So of course, this may take 1 or 2 months, uh, but you people may have to join and do actively. Okay, guys. Thank you so much.